What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review slash knife overview to do with you guys. This is the Koenig Mini Goblin. This is an awesome little knife. Lots to say about it as usual. Probably throughout the video, I will accidentally say that this is the Arius because my brain, my subconscious is used to saying Arius after Koenig. Also, thank you to all those people who corrected me in that video with the Koenig Arius. I was saying Koenig, like the Koenigsegg, like the car manufacturer. That's incorrect. It's Koenig. Anyways, if you are new to my channel, I like to do knife reviews, knife overviews. I like to do unboxings. Lots of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive, and I like to do discussion topics on the weekends, and I've got a knife guy series on Sundays. I like to upload every single day, so if you like constant knife content, go ahead and subscribe, and make sure your notifications are set to all because there's definitely a lot more content coming. Anyways, this knife was provided to me, like many others, by my good buddy Jeff Goodnow, who provides a lot of really cool content for this channel, so thank you so much, Jeff. This one's going to go back to him right after I'm done with it here. Let's go ahead and get a measurement of the Mini Goblin. Coming in at, boy, is it just a hair under, or I'm sorry, just a hair over 7 inches. Jeez, get it together. 7 1/8 on the overall length. From tip to scale, you're looking at about 3 1/8 on the blade length. The actual cutting edge is just a hair under, maybe if we tilt it this way, yeah, just a hair under 2 7/8 on the cutting edge there. So definitely a small knife, absolutely. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons here. Up against the Ontario Rat Model 1. Rat 1 coming in at 8.6 inches overall, so you can see there Rat 1 substantially bigger. How about up against the PM2? PM2 coming in at 8.3 inches overall. How about up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case the Ritter Hogue? Ritter Hogue coming in at 8 inches overall. And last but not least, the Para 3. Para 3, probably the best size comparison here, coming in at about 7 1/4. Just a little teeny tiny bit longer. The overhead giving a good size comparison there. So this is definitely a Para 3 size knife. The main difference being you're definitely getting more cutting edge on the Mini Goblin, and you're definitely getting less handle room given that there's a forward choil up here. So if you liked the Para 3 size and carry profile, kind of, and you were looking for more cutting edge and you don't care about the choil, and you have substantially more money to spend, maybe this knife is for you. Speaking of things that correlate with a higher cost, take a look at that action there. I'll tell you, the detent is very heavy, incredibly snappy. It's very easy to accidentally get my hands over and push on this lock bar despite years of experience with pocket knives telling me not to do that. The detent is heavy. Once you break it, it is going to deploy. I cannot fail this knife no matter what it is that I'm doing. Once that detent is broken, I'm actually trying to, yeah, see, I mean, straight up using my thumb, it's not gonna fail. It's also, despite being a small knife, it absolutely, once you get it past a certain point, has a fall shut action, which is something that's normal with Koenig knives, you know. Now, you have to get it about right to here, but once you do, it falls shut. Absolutely. It is absolutely frictionless in there. People who have never heard of Koenig, that's kind of their thing. These are production knives. They're not mid-tech. They're not custom according to the vast majority of the knife community. But in my opinion, if they are classified mostly as production knives, they have to be the absolute peak, the Mount Olympus of production knives. These are very expensive, but down to every last minute detail, which I'll cover here in this review, these things are manufactured perfectly, which is likely how they end up with this frictionless action. I mean, it's just insane, and it's one of those things where you kind of have to experience it. Given how light it is and how heavy the detent is and how light the blade feels, it actually kind of gives you this feeling of, how is this even possible? It doesn't seem like gravity and inertia and kinetic energy don't really apply the same way that they do to standard laws of physics when you pick this thing up. Now, I know I'm getting really dramatic with that, but seriously, I mean, it's hard to describe. Let's go ahead and weigh this guy. It's important to remember that this particular variant is in carbon fiber. They do also come in titanium, and I believe older variants, does this have milling? Let's look in there. Hard to see. Let's get a flashlight. Even despite the new lighting, we're still going to have to use a flashlight. There's a little bit of milling in there. I believe there were older variants of this that did not have milling. It's also, probably I should point out, there's milling on the inside of the carbon fiber. So this particular one is going to come in crazy light, 3.21, and not that crazy light, 3.21 inches, I believe, or 3.21 ounces is what it's coming in at. I believe the all titanium versions come in at something like 3.75. Am I right in assuming that? I've never held one, but I looked one up on DLT, the newer version. So any variant of this is going to come in under 4 ounces, which is going to please most people. I think that's just fine. I don't have an issue with it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this blade here. You can see that logo there on the mini Goblin. That's pretty cool. This is an M390 blade. We have satin flats, and then we have a tumbled area on this taper down to the cutting edge. This blade is in a Wharncliffe style. I believe that is the case with all of these mini Goblins. I don't know of a variant outside of this blade shape, but as usual, my friends in the comments section do a good job of correcting me when I'm wrong or misinformed. All the edges, all the way around, everything has been nicely chamfered. If I can get a nice close-up there for you, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful work all the way around. Nothing sharp except for the blade, and the blade is very, very sharp. Comes to a nice, extremely aggressive tip. You can see a little bit of a hollow grind there, which I believe is what we're working with. Again, my friends in the comments section will be able to tell you if I am incorrect. Let's go ahead and measure the blade thickness. I'm going to guess here that the, whoops, that's not how you do that. I'm going to guess we're at 145 thousandths. Oh, I'm way off. Really? 160 thousandths? Let me get my XM18 and see if that's where we're really at. Whoop, that's a fatty. We need the regular XM18. So the XM18 should be 165 thousandths. Holy cow. Okay, that blade is as thick as the XM18. That's not what I thought. It really didn't look that way. Despite that being the case, and the flat being in a pretty standard position on this blade that's not incredibly tall, it does manage to come down to what feels like an extremely thin edge. Really, really thin edge. I would imagine that would be due to the grind. So anyways, this is going to be definitely a performance blade. Absolutely slicey, of course. All that changes depending on what you're cutting and for how long. M390 being an excellent blade steel. No arguments there. Love the simplicity of the logo. Koenig, sometimes I complain about boring fonts. For whatever reason, that does it for me. I don't have an issue with that. It's very straightforward. I love that mark there too. That's pretty cool. Moving over to the other side, you have what looks to be a bead blasted pivot with no other marking really on it. On the other side, you have an anodized adjustment side. It is a Torx head, so you should be able to adjust it. And holy cow, look at this blue carbon fiber. My goodness, that is beautiful. Can I give you guys an awesome close-up? Oh, this blue carbon fiber really giving me an opportunity to show off the new lighting that was donated by Mr. Shaker MT down in the comments section. Holy cow. Now, I'll say this. I'm not normally someone who's like, oh, I'm going after a knife with colored carbon fiber, right? Because a lot of what I've seen has been kind of underwhelming. I've seen some ugly reds and some ugly greens. I've seen some lackluster blues, but oh my gosh, it's like a sea of sapphires. It's insane. This is beautiful. I have no idea what's different about this carbon fiber, but guys, this looks amazing. We also have, to my liking, slight contouring, which is always something that's welcome. I love that. We've got 3 anodized screws, bigger than the little teeny size that I don't like, so that's welcome. Are they? Yeah, they're one size bigger. I wanted to make sure there. The back here, we have an anodized titanium backspacer with some interesting little intricate work there. I bumped into my camera. Sorry about that. Some nice intricate work there on the backspacer. Beautiful, seamless. This sticks up just a little bit. Has some drops down in there. That's all on purpose. Really, really nice. Coming over to the other side, you have a pocket clip that is in much the same style as the Arius, in that it's kind of like futuristic, modern, cool, like, you know, the razor's edge of technology is kind of what it looks like to me. I love that. You have a contoured and sort of working finish, or it's kind of like working finish and bead blasted together on the titanium. Really nice, not really reflective, more matte than anything else, but nice and contoured, nice and smooth to the touch. The pocket clip goes right along with it, and I always do this and you guys can never see it, and so I don't even know why I do it, but It's so easy in and out of the pocket, despite having that divot that I always feel like I need. It just, apparently you just don't need it. The pocket clip also doesn't stick up that much, and you're able to get it in and out of your pocket with one hand, which is always something that I really appreciate. It sticks up about that much out of the pocket, no big deal. As you might expect from Koenig knives, the centering is dead on. We've got a lockup coming in at about 35%. You do have a steel lock bar insert and over travel stop, so no issue there. Lockup is absolutely 100% solid. You can see the stop pins right there, and sometimes I miss this. I don't talk about it. We have some extreme shouldering there on where the tang actually runs into the stop pin. That creates for additional surface contact and works in unison with the steel lock bar insert to slow down wear over time all the way around. This is an excellent design. Excellent, excellent, excellent. The fit and finish all the way around is beautiful. The design is just awesome. I mean, this is the product of precision manufacturing. You are absolutely going to get perfection with these knives, above even what I have described as perfection in other knives. You know, I use that term loosely, but let me emphasize it here. The Koenig knives that I have handled have been absolute perfection. Beautiful, beautiful. Love them. I will say this. Let's get on to some other things here. Ergonomically, you've got some traction up here, and it is absolutely functional. You've got some traction down here, all that stuff. This is easy to manipulate with one hand. I mean, it's very comfortable to go over and over and over and over again. The heavy detent that I'm experiencing on this will probably bother some people over time. Once I got used to it, it wasn't that big of a deal. Ergonomically, here's where your fingers fall into place. I can get two here, I can get one on this ramp, and then my pinky just doesn't want to be on there. I'll admit, that's not the most comfortable position for me. I prefer, number one, to be able to get all four fingers around the handle of a knife, especially if I can get it in the rear and forward. Sorry, my word choice there was not optimal. Anyways, I like to be able to get all four fingers on you know, the handle, whether I'm backed up or whether I'm choked up in the forward choil position. Given that the Spyderco Para 3 is the exact same size, even though, like, I mean, even back here on the back end of the handle, I can get all four fingers. Because of the shape of the handle on this Koenig, I mean, I really struggle to get all four on here. In fact, this pinky just wants to fall off. I can if I force it, but this bump right here, to me, is uncomfortable. I think I'm one of the few people who says that. I mean, I'll admit I haven't watched a lot of other reviews on this knife, but I feel like nobody else is complaining about that, and I'm trying to be organic here. This position with these two fingers falling off the edge does not feel organic or ergonomic or comfortable to me. But this is a smaller knife, and not everybody needs to have that feeling of all four fingers being locked in order to be happy with the ergonomics. So take that for what it's worth. This is an expensive, expensive knife. For the full titanium version, which you, at the time of this video, can actually get on DLT Trading, I think those are $535. This upgraded carbon fiber version, I believe, is $645. That is an enormous amount of money. And, you know, on this channel, I like to point out when things are you know, masterfully crafted and they're you know, made extremely well. And the lines get super foggy with my whole recommendation system, whether or not I can recommend this knife. And, you know, the truth is that I can, but the people who are going to be interested in buying this knife are definitely not everybody. You know, this is like once you've crossed into that Strider SNG or Chris Reeve Sabenza 21 or the Hinder XM18, like once you've crossed into that caliber, this is where that knife is, but it's at the absolute peak. The only knife that I've ever seen in the same price range that has, in my opinion, the same attention to detail is the Rick Hinder XM18. Now the one you're seeing up here is its base version is $425, making it $100 less than the base version of the Koenig. The upgraded titanium scale on this makes it $625, but you can get a full titanium Koenig Mini Goblin in M390 with all the same features roughly, except for the tri-way pivot system in full titanium for $535. So I can recommend the XM18 at its prices, and I go on and on and on about that. So to be fair, yeah, it's just like, it's the same thing I said with the Arius. I can absolutely recommend it. The ergonomics aren't my favorite thing in the world, but that's okay. It even has a kind of a little teeny tiny choke up position just for the first part of your finger behind your this knuckle here, but it's not really a full forward choil. Really, the only thing that bothers me about this knife is just the fact that I can't get 4 fingers on it comfortably. But in terms of a lightweight carry design that gives you that feeling of pride and you know, that cool factor, carrying something that's really like nice and luxurious and precision made, yeah, it's all there. If you spend the money on this knife, you're going to be happy with it. Unless for whatever reason you were expecting a really, really heavy knife, which this isn't. I mean, you're definitely going to be happy with it. It's just, it's cool, you know? Especially, I'll give you guys another close-up on that blue carbon fiber. I mean, golly, that's just insane. It's truly, truly beautiful. And, you know, this new lighting is capturing it well, but, I mean, even my new lighting can't really display this in its maximum glory. It's something that you truly have to experience in person. This is an amazing knife. If you are, you know, if you're not used to purchasing knives in this caliber, then, you know, if you decide to pull the trigger on it and you pay $645 if you can find one. I can't find a carbon fiber version that's not sold out. You can find one and then you buy it, and the most expensive knife you've ever bought was a $200 knife from ZT, you might struggle a little bit to understand exactly what it is you spent that extra money on. But, you know, and this sounds so snobby, saying stuff like this makes me sound so snobby, but handling so many knives in between the $200 mark and the $800 mark or $200 and $1,000 mark, you start to pick up on little tiny minute details in these more expensive knives that don't exist in some of the less expensive knives. Can they do basically the same thing? Yeah, but most people are not spending $635, $645 expecting to get $445 more of a knife than a $200 knife. In terms of functionality and utility. A lot of times it is those little tiny details. It is the nice little luxurious things. You know, in this case, the contouring, the perfect fitment of everything, the perfect chamfering, the perfect lines on the cutting edge, everything symmetrical all the way down. Symmetry in general is a huge deal on this. The sculpted titanium pocket clip, the attention to detail on these edges. Sure, there are details in some less expensive knives that mimic some of that, but let me tell you, handling as many knives as I have, it's really hard for me to say that any knife that I've seen under the price point of this knife really legitimately comes close to the manufacturing perfection that I'm seeing in this. It really is that amazing. The XM18 is really the only thing, and even some of the features on the XM18 honestly look a little bit clunky in comparison to what Bill Koenig is doing with his knives. Anyways, that's pretty much it for today's video. That's pretty much all I can say. This is an awesome knife. If you've been purchasing knives in this caliber and you've been curious about this, go ahead and spend the money. I think you're going to be happy with it, but it's definitely not for everybody. Price being the main factor there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to take a look at my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So if you... did I just mess up my outro? I just messed up my outro. If you're new to my channel, I never, ever, ever do that. Anyways, if you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, just like in the videos that you're seeing right here that YouTube is now suggesting for me. So if you want to check those out, please do. And if you enjoy all my content, then please subscribe to my channel. I believe there's a new watermark down here somewhere, or you can subscribe the normal way. But anyways, please do that and set notifications to all because there's definitely more content coming. Thanks again for watching and have a great day.